March 31st is not just another day. You have already felt it moving through you, quietly, deeply, before you even knew its name. Something within you has been shifting, dissolving, preparing to leave behind the version of yourself that could no longer continue. This final transit of the month is not waiting for permission. It is already unfolding inside your thoughts, your emotions, your energy. And what you are experiencing right now is not random. It is the beginning of a point of no return. You may have noticed something unusual happening to your mornings. You are waking up before your alarm, sometimes minutes, sometimes much earlier, as if something inside you has already decided that sleep is no longer where you belong. There is no frustration in it, no heavy grogginess, just a quiet alertness that feels almost unfamiliar. Your eyes open, and even if your body is still, your awareness is already active, already present, already listening. In your daily life, this may feel subtle at first. You might check the time and feel a moment of confusion, wondering why you are awake so early without any clear reason. You may lie there, not fully tired, not fully energized, simply aware. Thoughts begin to surface more clearly. The silence feels louder. The world feels paused. And somehow, you are awake within it before everything else begins. You may have questioned this. You may have wondered if something is wrong with your sleep, or if your body is restless for no reason. But this is not disturbance. This is not imbalance. This is not something to fix. This is your internal rhythm shifting before your external life has caught up to it. What is happening is deeper than sleep. Your internal clock is no longer syncing with a version of you that existed at the beginning of this month. It is aligning with what is coming next. When your awareness begins to rise before your physical routine, it means something inside you is preparing to meet a new state of being. You are not waking up early by accident. You are being gently pulled into a different frequency of awareness. This is a sign of energetic sensitivity. It means you are no longer moving unconsciously through your days. Your system is becoming more attuned, more receptive, more aware of subtle changes that others may not notice. While the world still sleeps, something within you is already responding to the shift that is approaching. And this is where March 31st becomes important. This final transit is not just an external event. It is a threshold. It is the moment where your internal awareness begins to fully separate from your past identity. The early waking is not just about time. It is about transition. It is about crossing from one version of yourself into another before the world reflects it back to you. Your body senses what your mind has not yet accepted. It feels the closing of a cycle and the opening of something irreversible. This is why your sleep feels lighter, how your awareness sharper, your mornings quieter yet more intense. You are already standing at the edge of who you used to be. And as this shift continues, you may begin to feel that the mornings carry a different energy. There is a stillness that feels meaningful, a silence that feels full. It is as if something is waiting for you in those early hours, not outside of you, but within you. Something that has been quiet for a long time is beginning to speak again. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. Because when you begin waking before the world, it means you are no longer meant to move with it in the same way. And the truth is simple, but it is powerful. You are not losing sleep. You are awakening before your life changes. There is a restless current moving through you that does not seem to belong to your normal rhythm. It feels like a quiet pressure beneath the surface, an inner movement that refuses to let you remain still for long. Even in moments where nothing is required of you, your body feels subtly activated, as if it is waiting for something it cannot yet see. In your daily life, this can appear as constant motion without a clear reason. You sit down, then stand again. You begin a task, then abandon it halfway through. You move from one room to another, adjusting things that were never truly out of place. Your mind does not fully land anywhere, and your body follows that same unsettled pattern, searching for a point of stillness that feels just out of reach. It is easy to mistake this for anxiety or distraction. It can feel like something is off, like your system is unable to relax the way it normally would. But this is not chaos. This is not loss of control. And this is not something that needs to be corrected. This is movement before transformation. There is a deeper reason for this internal acceleration. Your energy is no longer synchronized with the pace of your current reality. Something within you has already begun shifting forward, while your external world has not yet reflected that change. This creates a temporary friction, a sensation of being ahead of your own life, as if your internal state is preparing for something your environment has not caught up with. This is a sign of growing awareness. When your sensitivity expands, your system becomes less tolerant of stillness that does not match your inner evolution. It begins to move, to adjust, to reorganize itself in subtle ways. The restlessness is not random. It is preparation. It is your energy clearing space for what is about to arrive. And this is where March 31st becomes impossible to ignore. This final transit carries a forward pull, a momentum that cannot be reversed once it fully takes hold. It marks the moment where hesitation dissolves and movement becomes inevitable. The restlessness you feel now is your system aligning with that momentum before it becomes visible in your external life. Your body is responding to a shift that has already begun. It is not waiting for confirmation. It is not asking for clarity. It is already adjusting, already preparing, already moving towards something that cannot be undone. This is why stillness feels unnatural right now, because you are no longer in a state of waiting, or you are in a state of becoming. And as this energy continues to build, you may notice that even moments of quiet carry a hidden intensity. There is a sense that something is approaching, not in a dramatic or chaotic way, but in a quiet, undeniable movement that you can feel more than you can explain. This is not a disruption. This is alignment accelerating, because when your energy begins to move before your circumstances change, it means the shift has already begun within you. And the truth that anchors this moment is clear. You are not restless without reason. You are being moved into the next version of yourself. Small things have started to feel different. A tone of voice that once passed unnoticed now lingers in your mind. A simple conversation feels heavier than it should. Certain environments that used to feel normal now feel draining, almost overwhelming, as if something invisible has changed the way you experience them. In your daily life, this may show up as sudden emotional sensitivity. Words feel sharper. Silence feels louder. You notice details in people that you once ignored, subtle shifts in energy, hidden tension in interactions, things that were always there but never reached your awareness before. Even familiar situations may feel unfamiliar, as if you are seeing them for the first time without the filter you used to carry. It can feel confusing. You may wonder why your reactions are stronger, why your tolerance feels lower, why things that never bothered you now create discomfort. It may even feel like you are becoming more sensitive in a way that makes life harder to navigate. But this is not weakness. This is clarity emerging. This is not random. Your perception is sharpening because your awareness is expanding beyond your previous identity. You are no longer processing reality through the same lens you had at the beginning of this month. The version of you that once adapted, tolerated, and overlooked is beginning to dissolve. In its place, a deeper level of truth is rising, one that cannot ignore what feels misaligned. This is what happens when your inner world begins to realign. Sensitivity increases not to overwhelm you, but to guide you. It reveals what no longer resonates. It highlights what drains you. It brings forward the subtle truths that were always present but never fully acknowledged. And this is directly connected to the final transit of March 31st. This moment is not only about change, it is about revelation. It removes the filters that allowed you to remain comfortable in situations that were never truly aligned with who you are becoming. As this energy intensifies, your emotional responses are not random reactions. They are signals. They are indicators of a deeper shift taking place beneath the surface. When something feels heavier than it should, it is because you are now perceiving its true weight. When something feels draining, it is because your energy is no longer willing to sustain it. This is why certain people may feel different to you now, not because they changed overnight, but because you did. Your awareness moved forward, and now you are seeing what was always there from a higher level of clarity. This can create a quiet distance, an internal pull to step back, to observe rather than engage the way you used to. It may feel uncomfortable at first, like you are separating from something familiar, but this is not loss. This is alignment with truth. Because the closer you move toward March 31st, the less you can return to who you were. This transit is a point of no return, not because it forces change upon you, but because it reveals what you can no longer unsee. Your sensitivity is not making life more difficult. It is making your path more honest. And the deeper truth within this moment is simple and undeniable. You are not becoming too sensitive. You are finally seeing clearly. A strange contradiction has been moving through your body. There are moments when you feel unusually tired, as if your energy has been quietly drained, yet at the same time your mind feels clear, almost sharper than usual. It is not the heaviness of exhaustion that pulls you down. It is a softness in the body paired with an alertness in your awareness that does not fade. In your daily life, this can feel disorienting. You may sit down expecting to rest, yet your thoughts remain active and focused. You may feel physically low on energy, but mentally present in a way that feels deeper than before. Even simple tasks may require more effort from your body, while your mind seems to observe everything with unusual clarity. This can create a sense of imbalance. It may feel like your system is out of sync, like your body and your awareness are not moving at the same pace. You might question whether you were pushing yourself too much or not resting enough. But this is not depletion in the way you think it is. This is reorganization. Your energy is not disappearing. It is being redirected. What once fueled your old patterns, your automatic reactions, your habitual ways of thinking is now being withdrawn from those areas and concentrated into something more focused, more intentional. This creates the sensation of fatigue because your system is no longer operating in the same familiar way. At the same time, your clarity increases because your awareness is no longer scattered. It is gathering itself. It is becoming more precise, more conscious, more aligned with what is real rather than what is repeated. This is a sign of inner realignment. When your system begins to transition into a higher level of awareness, it often reduces unnecessary energy output. The body slows down so that the mind can recalibrate. The noise decreases so that truth can become more visible. And this is where the final transit of March 31st plays its role. This moment is not only about moving forward, it is about shedding what no longer needs to be carried. As this transit approaches, your system begins to release the excess weight of your past identity. The habits, the emotional loops, the unconscious patterns that once consumed your energy are quietly dissolving. This release does not always feel dramatic. It often feels like a subtle fading, like a quiet exhaustion that comes not from effort, but from letting go. Your body registers this as tiredness, while your awareness experiences it as clarity. This is why you may feel both drained and awake at the same time. One part of you is closing, another part is opening. And as this continues, you may notice moments where everything feels still, almost suspended. Not empty, but calm in a way that feels unfamiliar. It is the absence of the noise you once carried. It is the space being created for something new to enter. This is not weakness. This is transition. Because when your energy begins to withdraw from what no longer defines you, it must gather itself before it can move forward again. And the truth that lives within this experience is quiet, but powerful. You are not losing energy. You are becoming more intentional with it. There is a moment approaching that cannot be reversed. It does not arrive loudly. It does not announce itself in a dramatic way. It appears quietly, almost gently. Yet, when it comes, something inside you will recognize it immediately. A realization will surface, not as a thought you create, but as a truth you cannot deny. In your daily life, this may arrive in the simplest way. A situation you have been holding on to suddenly feels complete. A question you have been asking yourself no longer needs an answer. A version of you that once felt familiar now feels distant, almost unrecognizable. You may pause, not because something external has changed, but because something within you is shifted into certainty. There may not be emotion at first, no overwhelming reaction, just a still, grounded awareness that something has ended. Not in a painful way, but in a final way, like closing a door that you know will never open again. Not because it was taken from you, but because you no longer need to walk through it. It can feel subtle, yet undeniable. You may look back at who you were at the beginning of this month and feel a quiet distance, as if that version of you belonged to a different timeline. The thoughts you once carried may no longer resonate. The fears that once felt heavy may now seem smaller, almost irrelevant. The patterns you once repeated may no longer feel natural to continue. This is not confusion. This is recognition. This is what happens when you cross a threshold that cannot be uncrossed. And this is exactly what the final transit of March 31st brings. It is not just a shift. It is a point of no return. Mark a moment where your internal state aligns so deeply with truth that going back becomes impossible. Not because you are forced forward, but because your awareness has outgrown what lies behind you. This is why everything you have been feeling has been leading to this. The early waking, the restlessness, the sensitivity, the strange balance between fatigue and clarity. None of it was random. All of it was preparation for this quiet realization. Because once you see clearly, you cannot pretend not to see. As this moment settles within you, you may feel a calm that is different from anything you have known before. Not excitement, not relief, but a steady, grounded knowing that something has completed itself within your life. There is no urgency to explain it, no need to justify it. It simply is. And from this place, a new version of you begins to emerge. Not suddenly, not all at once, but with a quiet strength that does not need validation. A version of you that no longer questions what feels right. A version of you that no longer negotiates with what feels misaligned. This is where your power returns. Not as something you gain, but as something you remember. And as March 31st passes, you may not see fireworks. You may not feel a dramatic transformation in the moment. But you will know, in the stillness, in the clarity, in the quiet certainty that has taken root within you, the person you were is no longer here, and the path ahead no longer leads back, because the truth of this moment is final. You have crossed into who you are becoming, and there is no return to who you were.